Yo, what's going on, friends, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. As always, I really do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News. This on the day of the Champions League. That's right, baby. We're back at the big table with the big boys. And we're playing Bayern Munich later on. Tonight, I, of course, will react to... Let's just centralize this. I will react to that game after the game this evening. I want to speak a little bit about this Nico Jackson. Something called Dracula then. He, of course, apparently does not want to return to Chelsea under any circumstances. We'll speak about what happens. Everyone's been talking about, Jackson knows the Chelsea secrets. And look, maybe we get slapped by Bayern. I tell you what, I'm kind of, maintaining my position on this. I want to beat Bayern, I want to destroy them, I want to embarrass them. But if there was ever one game that you didn't expect to definitely get 3 points in the league phase, it's Bayern Munich away in the Allianz Arena. Whatever, do you know what I mean? So, I'm kind of relatively chill about it, quite philosophical about it. But a lot of people are saying, Jackson's got the inside knowledge, they're going to beat Chelsea. And then, of course, there's been all this stuff with his agent coming out saying, like, oh yeah, you can't go back, the relationship's not good with the manager. Drama. He does give drama, Nico, doesn't he? We want to absolve ourselves of this. I must stay consistent I think he's a very good player with a high ceiling and often a low floor. But we'll speak about that. Some stuff Reece James said as well that I really like. Increasingly, I am getting sold on Reece James as captain. It's a slow drip feed, I must say. It never was in terms of quality. I always knew, best right wing back in the world. Can play in all sorts of positions. Proper Chelsea. Love his celebrations. But I never was completely sold on him being captain. But slowly, through the passage of time, I'm getting more and more convinced. And Mourinho's coming back to Chelsea, and apparently everyone's as in a visiting manager, and for some reason everyone's getting really excited about that. I do not know why. Anyway, strap yourselves in. As always, very glad to have you here with me to talk through these stories in the mainstream footballing media. Thank you as always for supporting the content, for liking, subscribing. And look, I can keep holding the mic. If there was ever a reason to like the video, it was for this. Can you even see that? It's for this shirt. Drop a like and subscribe. Because I'm wearing the Lampard Old Fly Merit Sunbro away kit. What a beauty! So yeah, that's worth a like and subscribe, surely. Don't call me Shirley. Transition now. Right, can I just start on Mourinho? So he got sacked by Fenerbahce. But Mourinho getting sacked isn't the story. It happens all the time. But he's been hired by Benfica. He was there a long time ago, before Porto? Yeah, must have been. Yeah, of course. And that's nice. That's nice for him. Yeah, good story. Ends there. Look, who am I to tell people how to feel? But I'm seeing all this, he gets to come back to Stamford Bridge in the Champions League. Mourinho's coming home. Mourinho, he's coming back to Chelsea. He's already come back to Chelsea, managing Man United, a job, by the way, he was desperate for years to succeed Alex Ferguson. And, do you know where else he came back managing? Tottenham Hotspur. We'll just wipe that from our brains. I love Mourinho. I think he's the box office manager in terms of theatre, in terms of amazing underdog achievements. He'll always try and sell it more, maybe not more than it is, but the Porto story, the Inter treble, incredible, really. Even trophy with Roma, he does that, and that's what a Guardiola doesn't do. But I loved how he fought for Chelsea, the whole campaign against Chelsea and all this. And he was amazing. He was transformative. He was pivotal. He was the main character in that Abramovich turnaround. But he did say, I don't know why I'm going down this road, but here we are. I'm walking down the road. He did say, I would never manage Tottenham. Oh, Tottenham give me a job. Off I go. Zing. So anyway, yeah, I lost a bit of love for him there. By the way, on a quick tangent, I was chatting to a couple of mates yesterday about Ancelotti being like in for example, like, you know, in the managerial GOAT, you know, conversations. Of course, he's not influential, Ancelotti, in the same way so like Cruyff was for Guardiola and how Guardiola is for everyone. But he's won the league in all 5 top main European leagues. He's won multiple Champions Leagues with multiple different clubs. Like, that's insane. I know he's not like this influential philosophical tactician, but like, that's just you can't, no one will get that record ever again, Ancelotti. If he goes and wins the World Cup with Brazil, which I don't actually think is that likely, he has to be considered like the GOAT. He's not, I just think it's incredible. I think because he just chills and raises his eyebrow and, like, you know, he's not a nutter like Pep, or he hasn't got main character syndrome like Mourinho, that people don't really talk about him enough. I don't know. And maybe because he's more of like a vibesman, he's a Galactico whisperer rather than some sort of, you know, professor tactics guy. But, why am I talking about Ancelotti? Yeah, I just think he's Mourinho's come back. I don't really give a sod. Right. So, Chelsea. Nico Jackson. We'll talk about the drama in just a moment. I'm just going to sip my coffee 1 second with the pause. I also moved a couple of shirts around the back because that was annoying me. Yeah, so, Jackson. Action Jackson. First of all, I just want to quickly say about this Reece James quote that I love, because everyone's been talking about, oh, Nicholas Jackson, he's going to leak all Chelsea's tactical secrets to Vincent Kompany, and basically, they'll all know how Chelsea play, they get the edge. Reece James did the press conference in the Champions League after Maresca, and he says this. Yeah, I know Nico very well. He's an amazing player. Playing against him will be tough. But on the other hand, it will help me because I know how he plays. So he flipped the script. Everyone's going, oh, he knows how you plays. Of course, Reece will be defending against him. And he's like, yeah, but I know how he plays. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love this. Like, he's coming out with some really, like, assertive, nah, we are Chelsea. I love how he is... dare I say, completely converted me to a James Captain truther, because I adored Reece James. Like I said, the celebrations when he takes off the shirt and holds up to the crowd and, you know, shakes the Chelsea badge and roars and will fight, and immense quality in every element, you know, in like defensive awareness, space interpretation, passing range, positional versatility, all kinds of assists, loads of different goals. He was trained as a striker as a kid. That's why he can finish so well. Amazing free kicks. All of it. You know, and organisation on the pitch as well. But he always seemed quite softly spoken, quite passive, not assertive enough. And even if he does kind of talk like that still, the stuff he comes out with, like, nah, bollocks, mate. I know how he plays. And the Club World Cup, he was like, everyone's saying, you know, in the final, everyone's saying PSG's going to win, but we're going to win. You know, like, shut up. And goes out there and wins. I love that assertiveness, the cojones of the man. And I'm sold, mate. So, oh, captain, my captain, yada, yada, yada. So what's going on with Nico? Look, there is an article here, a little breakdown from Naz Kinsella on the BBC, on the Bubaka. We could run through that quickly. But his agent has basically come out and said, like, oh, yeah, you can't go back. You can't go back to Chelsea. The relationship is not good. But I think he was asserting that the relationship between Jackson and his camp and Maresca is not good. Out of those two, I'm backing Enzo Maresca, the guy who's been successful for Chelsea of late. And I'm really reluctant to pat myself on the back. Oh, here it comes. But I was always really I said much like I'm talking about Reece James being a Chelsea captain. I always thought there's something about Maresca that had quite Chelsea about him. In the same way, I don't really have to see with Pochettino. Certainly didn't see with Graham Potter. But that he's just always got this stern, measured demeanor when speaking to the media, and you just know he knows exactly his position. He's never in between. You know, when Potter just didn't know what the hell was going on, he was sort of front of house smile, like, welcome to Chelsea, we'll try our hardest, you know. Modern ideas, we'll see what happens, be nice. And I'm all for being nice, by the way, but there's something about Maresca that is truly tutto bene. He feels like a Chelsea manager, and he's made his decisions. He won't give you a sniff. Mourinho obviously aired loads of stuff in the public deliberately as part of his like theatrical games. Conte did it because he was just throwing his toys out of the pram. But yeah, I feel like Maresca knows exactly what he's doing, and if he's doesn't like something with Nico, he's probably told him, and that's that, you know. And he doesn't have any room seemingly for like needless sentiment, which sounds really harsh. And of course, many of you would have seen. I saw on his Instagram, Sterling shared his Instagram story at 8:30 at night, freezing training by himself at Chelsea. He and I believe Disassi, I don't know what's going on with Disassi, but they're not allowed to train when the first team's in the building. They're not allowed to mix at all, to cross-contaminate bomb squad with first team, which is cruel, and I don't want to see it ever again. I'm not saying stop doing it now because you don't want to distract the players. Like, oh, there's Reece. Can't he come and play with us? Can't he kick the ball with us? Like, yeah, fine, you know. But it's been happening at Man United. It's rotten. It's been happening at Chelsea. It's rotten. I don't want to see it ever again. Build a squad that you use. Or, for example, like I've recently said, Nico was going to stay with the first team and Nkunku was going to stay with the first team had they not found their exits. That's got to be the movement from now on. So yes, I guess that's coming from Maresca as well, which, again, I feel like it's cruel with Raz, but I sort of understand it. Like I said, I just want it done now. But seemingly, he'd probably done the same with Nico. Nico's probably, well, he's almost certainly not going to start tonight, but he might come on. I'm going to read some, just to recap the story of Jackson, because it is interesting, because he's a high ceiling player. And then because just before we get into the recap from Nizar Kinsella, his agent was like, yeah, he can't go back. Absolutely not. Jackson's agent ruled out Chelsea return next summer. Yeah, I'm reading this on sportsview.co.uk. Absolutely not. Today at Chelsea, the relationship with Enzo Maresca isn't the best. So why say that? Agents are just dumb, aren't they? We're not going this is good. We're not going to bite the hand that feeds us. Well, you've already just had a little nibble there, haven't you, mate? Haven't you? Yeah? Or you've just sort of like, I was going to say, put it in your mouth, but that would have been very gross. And I said it anyway. We're never going to bite the hand that feeds us because Chelsea allowed him to find the European level. He was there. He scored 30 goals in 2 years. Really? He 30 goals. Well, 14 and 10 in the league, so that's 24. I guess 6 in other competitions as well. I don't know why he's coming out and saying the relationship with the manager isn't good. Who does that help? Like, and then Maresca obviously responded like, it's fine. I texted him saying, good luck or whatever. Anyway, let's just remind ourselves. Okay. It was not lost on anyone involved in the deal that the 24-year-old would quickly face his parent club with Chelsea in the Champions League tonight. Of course, those who helped complete the one-off deal had plenty of time around the frantic deadline to discuss his debut for the German super club in Europe's Premier League competition. Premier League. Jackson remained in Germany throughout the deal, and it was agreed, of course, as we tried to bring it back with hamstring Liam Delap, as they call him. Will Jackson join Bayern permanently? He joined on deadline day with a £14.3 million loan fee. This is an insane amount of money for a loan fee, guys. A conditional obligation of £56.2 million, which is it's over £70 million all in. Should that obligation be met? Only the loan moves for Morata from Chelsea to Madrid, and Juventus commanded bigger fees. Morata, big loan fees. Wow, we're getting all the big loan fees apparently under both ownerships. Uli Hoeneß, the guy who talks a lot for Bayern Munich. Former striker and, of course, influential figure. This is the thing with Bayern. It's so political, the ex-players being involved and talking. Saying he won't play 40 games from the start. We still have 32 Bundesliga games. If we reach the Champions League final, which we hope that will add to 13, that's a total of 45 games. The DFB Pokal, the German FA Cup games do not count, so he'd have to start all these games, and he'll go to the AFCON Cup of Nations, so he cannot start. He's essentially saying those conditions to be met simply cannot be met. So Chelsea would have known that. Was this like an invisible obligation? They simply cannot be met because there's less games in the Bundesliga. He's going to AFCON. He's not going to start. He's going to be maybe at times be on the pitch with Kane. I mean, who knows? Maybe tonight we see him start on the left or something, and Kane, there's up top, or there's a weird 4-4-2 from Company. I'd seriously doubt it. But there's very, very conflicting things about how this obligation will be met. Some people say it's 45 minutes, which is weird. Either way, it just sounds like it's very, very difficult. Further clarification has been given since he said that, appearance of 45 minutes or more would count as a start. So coming on at halftime? But even that never happens. Hoeneß also claimed that Jackson's Epic Sport agency, led by Ali Barrett, paid the extra 1.3 million loans. Apparently that's not true either. Everyone's like lying and like making up stories and trying to not come off as like there's the loser here. Just stop talking. Just go and play football. Do you know what I mean? Kane says he thinks Nico looks sharp in training. He looked really good. It's not that easy coming into a team like us. We're so well drilled. Yeah, Bavarian machinery. He's physically strong and fast. True. And if he plays, he'll be eager to impress. But I don't want him to put too much pressure on him soon. So Kane's chatting him up. Why didn't it work at Chelsea? Well, we all know. £32 million. Really, really cheap, actually, considering how much of a high ceiling he's got. He has underperformed his expected goals over 2 Premier League seasons by -7, which is significant. A Chelsea striker should have an elite finishing ability and actually maybe go plus rather than minus. And -7, he's young, he's adapting. It's been a chaotic Chelsea. I would have been like a minus, few, but 7's pretty bad. But look, he's good. Bayern Munich wouldn't have taken him if he isn't good. They made him their priority target, even if for a loan. They're Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously a good player. Chelsea would have kept him if maybe this stuff didn't happen with Maresca. We could do with him right now. In the absence of Delap, I'd rather... Look, no matter what your position on Nico Jackson is, when we're throwing Tyreek George up top to play striker, I don't care how you feel. And this is not a dig and tie, but I don't care how you feel. You would absolutely prefer Nicholas Jackson up there. I'm sorry. You just would. You would. I would. You would. Anyway, I love... I wanted to reflect on the Nico story, the drama, the Reece James stuff, the Jose Mourinho stuff, and have a little chat with you guys. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing and dropping your hype points, baby. They're down there. Swipe across hype points. It helps me out, I think. And if you want to also check out more content, there's content on the second channel, Football Yannick. Just search Football Yannick in YouTube. Swap the therapy with Yannick. Oh, and there I am. Other than that, on this channel, I'll see you after the game. Peace.